Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is brought to you by Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Specialty Performance Vehicles, your specialty vehicle and parts store for your performance and off-road vehicles. And by Tribotex, make your engine last longer.
Motorhead Garage, presented by NHOU Protective Coatings, is coming at you from the road. We're hanging out north of Charlotte, North Carolina with our friends at Steele Rubber, and we're over here on Lake Norman, where no visit to Charlotte is complete without coming here. Now, if you own a boat, you know it's got lots of rubber seals on it. And if you own a boat, you also know those rubber seals are the first thing to go.
The most common parts that a customer will be calling about and that they can actually work on themselves are going to be primarily compartments and doors. And those are the things, of course, where you're going to see the biggest issues with. On a boat, obviously, exposure to a lot of water. Anything that you have stored in compartments or behind closed doors you want to keep dry. Other parts that we commonly get requests for are window seals, and it could be for sliding glass windows or glazings for fixed windows arrangements. And last but not least, in an area that you wouldn't really think of off the bat, but is rub rail inserts. One of the common misconceptions is that replacing seals and weather stripping on a boat can't be done by yourself. And that's not the case. As a matter of fact, Steele Rubber Products is very happy to offer a full line of seals and weather stripping for your watercraft that are indeed very easy to replace. And this is anything from window seals to doors and compartments, even to large rub rail inserts. This is all something that you, the consumer, can do without having to take it to the shop to have it done.
When we last left our hero, Danny, you were working on prepping the window of this Vega. Now, what was entailed in that process?
So we had to get all the gunk that was underneath the seal, body filler, adhesive, old pieces of rubber. So we wanted to scrape all that out, get it removed, and make sure that it's as clean as possible for whenever we install our new weather strip.
And I know that preparation is so important when you're painting a car. How important is it when you're actually putting the rubber seal in?
Equally important. Everything for weather stripping comes down to surface prep, especially if you're gluing something. It's only going to stick as good as the surface lets it, and the cleaner that surface is, the better it'll be.
And especially in an old car, how important is the rubber seal to the integrity of the entire automobile?
Well, this protects everything. You know, it covers the pinch welds. I mean, you saw with the old one, this is where the rust started. So this is going to protect all of that, protect any kind of water. And even if you don't have water damage, it stops wind noise, makes the ride more enjoyable. It's necessary for the car.
Excellent. You've got, this is a good looking seal already, and it's just test fitted in here, right?
Yep, so we did our first couple steps. We've test fitted, have the correct orientation. So this particular seal, we are going to apply adhesive to install.
All right, and why have we chosen adhesive on this one? Because it could just go into the pinch weld just like it is, right?
Right, and it just holds on, you see how it is, but just like the old part, it pulls right off. That means it can fall right off. That means there is ability for water to get by there. So we are going to apply some adhesive to make sure it doesn't fall and stays in place.
Excellent, this is the 3M that you recommended, Steele Rubber.
That's right, so what I like to do is put a little bit on a different surface, and because this stuff can be messy to work with, I'm sure lots of people know. So take a popsicle stick and we'll spread it on in a thin layer.
All right, and this leads us to our next mistake that people often make when they are installing new rubber seals, and that's using too much adhesive. So how do we know we've got the right amount?
So you basically want a thin layer. I always talk about it as like a sticky note. How a sticky note is tacky, but not oozing everywhere. That's kind of what you want. And whenever you put the seal on, you don't want it oozing around the side.
You don't want any squeeze out at all.
Right.
Gotcha.
So with this stuff, you apply a thin layer. You do wait for it to get just a little bit tacky. And if it's a little bit warm, it'll get tackier quicker than later. So we will do that. And you can even put some on the seal itself, right where it's going to be coming in contact with the vehicle.
How long after we finish then are we able to put the window back in?
So with this particular application, you can put the window in pretty much right away. One of the mistakes that people often make is gluing in a trunk seal and then slamming the trunk closed. And the glue takes a while to cure, so you want to give it time to cure. We recommend a day you know, 3M, it says 24 hours, but you want to make sure that it's just not going to move on you. If you have to close it, put some tape on it to make sure that it's going to stay in place. But with this application, with the window, the way it closes, it's not going to have any shear force, so you're pretty much good to go with this.
Now you're taking your time on this, which again leads us to another mistake that people make a lot when they're putting in new rubber seals.
Right, so you just want to take your time. You know, if you don't want to make a mess and you want to make sure everything's glued down correctly, just take your time. And if anyone's ever installed a windshield before, they know the process can be difficult. But if you take your time, make the job look good, it's the only time you're ever going to have to do it.
A little investment at this end of the project is going to lead to lots of years of enjoyment and a really cool looking car.
Absolutely.
So what have we learned here on our visit to Steele Rubber? Well, we learned about the 7 mistakes people make a lot when they are putting new seals on their car. Number 1 is a really important one, Danny. Do not throw away the original seal.
That's right. Make sure there's a replacement part for it, and if not, call us, see if we can make it.
All right, and then once you get the new part, do not forget to check the orientation when you're putting it on.
Yeah, make sure the seal's facing the right way. I can't tell you how many trunk seals I've seen put on backwards.
A lot of people also forget to do a test fit.
Yeah, do a test fit, make sure everything looks good, make sure that you're not going to get into any unforeseen circumstances.
This is a step I think that a lot of people probably skip over too. They don't properly prep the surface when it's time to put a new seal on.
Yeah, you have to prep the surface. Surface prep is everything when it comes to install.
An easy one to fall into is using too much adhesive.
Yeah, you don't need too much weather strip adhesive. A little goes a long way and works a lot better.
And if you're doing a trunk seal, you don't want to rush to get that thing on the road right away.
Yeah, don't close the door or trunk whenever you're putting a new seal on. Give that adhesive time to set.
And the best overall lesson, item number 7, do not rush to finish the job.
All good things take time. So take your time, make sure you're nice and neat about everything, and it'll be the only time you have to do it.
And I'm going to add item number 8, by the way. The biggest mistake you'd make is not going to Steele Rubber when you need a new rubber seal for your car. Thank you for coming along with us on a road trip to our friends at Steele Rubber Products. It's great to see folks at the top of their business, and we hope you enjoyed the trip as much as we did. We're going to do it once again next week, so be sure to join us for another edition of Motorhead Garage presented by NHOU Protective Coatings. So long.